Wow, let's hear it for a white feather one more time. Well, good morning once again. And I'm still Reverend Steve Van Meter, Center for Spiritual Living, Menifee Valley. And we are continuing with our theme, A World That Works for Everyone, the Global Heart Vision. Today's ideas come from Dr. Christian Sorensen, who is from the Encinitas Church. And he selected some of the reading that I'll be sharing, with you this morning. A little frog in my throat there. So, we see all people, all beings, all life as expressions of God. And you may hear someone go, well, I'm God. You go, well, who do you think you are? You're God, really? And it's not quite like that. It's more like I'm God as much as anything or anyone else is. Each one of us is a cell in the body of God. So, if you can imagine that God expresses constantly, it's ever evolving and ever expressing, and we are demonstrations, expressions of that awesome power and its ability to create. What an amazing thing to be able to create worlds and universes and planets and stars and people them with us. And here we are. And we've been given the opportunity to customize it how we see fit so that God can express in so many different ways that we get to choose how that looks. We've been given a great gift. So, the Science of Mind viewpoint, God expresses in and through all that there ever was or will be. This is from Dr. Holmes's Beverly Hill Lectures, and it's a book, and it's page 11. He says, suppose each one of us goes into an unknown country and works an acre of land. There are 250 acres, and each one will take an acre in the same land. There are not 250 different kinds of creative process in the soil. There is only one kind of creative process common to the 250 acres. But we are all people, so each one of us plants his own plot his own way. Some plant corn, some plant roses. We each get to individualize what we plant. So each plants as he likes. And then everything is different when it comes up. And people who see it say, here are 250 individual acres of land. But there's no such thing. There are 250 individualized plots of the one creativity operating through the soil. So whoever plants will get something to come up, even if it's weeds. I thought I was doing really good, planting stuff, and those are weeds. Oh, that wasn't what I planted, but something grew. But each one of us gets to individualize it. Some may clean the soil better than others. Some may water better than others, or let the rain do it. So you'll get a different expression on each acre. It's going to look different because we each get to individualize it. But the process in the soil is the same. Do you get what I'm saying? So, when the title of the talk is There's Only One Life. There's one creative medium. Now, this doesn't mean that there's no such thing as reincarnation. I don't know. I personally believe that there is something that we get to express several times. That we don't just, maybe in this body we only live one time. But as my father explained it to me when I asked him, my dad was my guru. I always asked him, the big questions. What happens when you die? You'd say, well, imagine the hand in the glove, and the glove gets worn out. The hand finds a new glove, and the body is like the glove. When it no longer serves, the hand will find another glove, a form of expression. He said that your body is a place where your soul parks itself for an instant in eternity. This is an instant in eternity. Feels a little longer, doesn't it? Feels a lot longer at times. So, have you ever heard the expression, they put two kids in a room of manure, and one kid cries, and the other kid smiles and starts digging. And they say, why are you digging? Well, under all this manure, there's got to be a horse somewhere. And that's kind of how life is. Are you going to be the kid that cries, or are you going to be the kid that searches for the horse in all that BS, belief system, as it were? So, since Spirit shows up through the creative process in all people, all beings, and all life, it's important to plant the seed of your choice. Otherwise, the world is just going to bury you with your grumbles. You ever been buried with your grumbles? I'm grumbling about something, Oh, it's too early. Oh, it's too late. If I'm just a little older, if I was just a little lighter, if I was just a little heavier, if I was just, fill in the blank. We all have that thing that we're waiting to get to. When I'm done working, I'll retire and everything will be fine. When I die, I'll get to heaven. Everybody wants to get to heaven, but nobody wants to die, right? Why can't we have heaven right here, right now? I think we can. So you can talk about how your life is ruined and be buried alive, or you can grab a shovel and go plant the seeds of your choice. There's a big difference between being buried and planting. Think about that. Are you being buried by life? Or are you taking what life is giving you and planting what you choose? When given lemons, they make lemonade. Sometimes you make a sour lemonade, extra sugar. Did you put a lot of sugar in lemonade? You ever see? So watch my mom make lemonade, and it was like mostly sugar. I'm like, why so much sugar? She goes, taste the lemon. I was like, oh, yeah, more sugar, Mom. When you are planted, you've got the life of God in you. Your innate nature is ready to push through the weight of dark times. You ever had that feeling of life just closing in, and it seemed like there was no way out? But once we picked ourselves up and dusted ourselves off and continued to walk, something within us carries us forward. Something within us, once we agree to and give life to that power that created us and go, okay, I'm going to do this, something happens. It's indescribable, the power that can come over you once you change your mind. And it can happen in an instant, or there can be a process to it, but something happens where we get to the 51 percentile. Once you get to 51%, you tip the scale, and then everything slides towards that side. And that's all we need to do is get 51%. Sometimes I feel like my life needs to get to 67% before I feel it, but we only have to get to 51% to start the ball rolling. There's a big difference between being buried and being planted. And that is your expectation of what comes next. What are you expecting? What did you expect? My mom always goes, what did you expect was going to happen? I didn't know. Well, that's what you got. You didn't know. So now I expect the best. People say, how's it going? Better and better. Better and better. What a great answer. ministerial friend told me that. I was like, I can use that better and better. Because when we say that, even when things may be challenging us, this isn't to deny that we're walking through challenge. It's to embrace a bigger picture, to get ourselves towards that 51 percentile. If I plant a seed, I fully expect to see it rising forth. That's its inherent nature, is to grow. You know, we plant the seed and God grows the tree. God has the hard part. But we have to plant the seed. Here's my favorite metaphysical math solution. An idea or a thought plus a feeling and a visualization equals a demonstration. When you put your feeling into something, and you know, the universe speaks in feeling, not in language. You know, we think, well, I told the universe everything I want, but did you feel it? Once you feel it, something happens. You ever stomp your foot at God? Damn it. Whatever you put behind that, be very careful. Because when we say damn it, it actually puts a dam which stops the flow in that direction. We have to be very careful because we want things to flow. What happens when you block something? It backs up and stagnates. We must flow. So now I say, oh, flow it. Try it. Try it next time you want to go, bless it. And it works because once you call in that energy, it can't come in without your request. If it could, we'd all be different because we wouldn't be living our own lives. We have to invite the power of the infinite into the situation or it won't come in. And once we decide to do that, it's like somebody writing a prayer request. They write it down, and they put it in that box over under in this home picture, and they let go and they walk away. And they feel different. Something like, wow, it feels different now. And nobody's even praying on it yet, but something feels different because I wrote it down, I got it out of my head, and I gave it away. It's so funny. Somebody will say, thank you so much after the weekend for praying on my prayer request. And I'll be like, what are you talking about? I didn't know that you had one, but God bless you. I'm always praying for whatever's in that box. See, I don't have to know. God knows. And once our ecclesiastical team does get the prayer request and sends it out on our little listserv and we all start praying, miracles happen. But miracles happen even before. The miracle is that you wrote it down and put it in the box. That starts the miracle happening because you activated the law. You gave it up. And then miracles can happen. So think about that. A great practice for starting your day is to plant life-affirming seeds in your life. Maybe an inspirational reading. I like to keep the textbook right by my bed. And I open that first thing in the morning. Just randomly open it. Because God knows exactly what's going on. And I always get exactly the right reading. You know, there's something there on the page. You know, I'll jump to a different paragraph. Oh, this is the one I was supposed to read. But try that. Get yourself a textbook and check it out. Because it never ceases to amaze me. The analogy that I like to use about one life is imagine that I have a piece of paper and I've put my fingers through it. Now, on this side of the piece of paper, you see the individual fingers. This is our life, right? Here we are, individual fingers. But on the other side is the hand. This is the part of you. You're a wireless being, but we're each attached to something because we are something much bigger. We just don't see the connection. There's an umbilical cord, believe it or not, of energy that each one of us is expressing as. And on this side of the plane of existence, we just see the individual fingers, our bodies. But I believe in another time and space, invisible to the human eye, we are all expressing as one. And that each one of us is bits, little quantum bits of God expressing as only God can. And you get to individualize however that looks. Isn't that cool? I love that analogy. You know the aspen trees? Aspen, beautiful tree. One root system. With all these trees coming up out of that one root system. They're not individual root systems like a normal tree. They've got one root system in all these trees. That's the same as the fingers coming up. It's a great analogy. Well, the stream flows around and through us, but the Spirit cannot drink for us. That's Ernest Holmes in Words That Heal Today. The stream flows around and through us, but the Spirit cannot drink for us. We must drink for ourselves. And we get to choose what we drink. Your body is not going to say, oh, you don't want to drink that Drano. It will drink it if you put it to your lips. We have to know better and not drink the Drano, right? Your body's going to assimilate whatever it's given. It's just like I can go up and touch the light socket, the electrical socket. We've all done that as kids. If you haven't, don't try it. You will get shocked. Or we can take the vacuum and plug it in and vacuum the carpet. It's up to us to decide and to learn how the laws work. And there are metaphysical laws of the universe, like gravity. We don't see gravity, but it holds everything in place. There's laws of attraction, that when we think a certain direction, we attract certain things to us unknowingly. We may not know that we were thinking negatively and attracted some sort of something into our lives we choose not to have. You know, it always happens. How did that happen to me? I wasn't thinking that, but something in you may have been. This is why we need to control the direction of our thoughts. The God expression comes forth through all life with the urge to express. Passion is an impulse towards growth. Possibly the reason people are enthralled with vampires and zombies these days is that they're afraid of having their life sucked out of them and walking this world among the living dead with no passion or joy. God, I know some of these people. They've just died, but they haven't told their bodies. But I was walking around like that for a long time. I was dead. I was just going from one fire in my life to the next, waiting for the next fire to pop up, because I knew it's Tuesday and a fire is going to happen in my life. And then I decided that I was going to take some action and carry a fire extinguisher with me wherever I went. My rod and my staff, they comfort me, and that's your belief system and your word. Your belief and your word are your fire extinguisher. And then you won't need it. You know, when you carry one, you don't need it. Isn't that how it always goes? So when you train yourself to think in a different direction, you attract positive things into your life. This is how the law works. Sarah Blakely was a girl who grew up with a dad who every week would ask her and her brother what they had failed at that week. An interesting thing. What'd you fail at this week? It was a reverse kind of psychology that kept them from being afraid to try new things. One day when Sarah was getting ready for a party, she realized she didn't have the right kind of underwear to go with her white fitted pants because her undergarments would show. So she cut the feet out of a pair of control top pantyhose so that there wouldn't be any lines, and had that firm fit all night long. Very, very creative. It dawned on Sarah that this just might be a good product. So she took all the money that she had, $5,000 at the time, and launched a company called Spandex. While operating out of her living room, Sarah received a call from Oprah's people asking her to come on her show and be one of her favorite things. Sarah's company has never gone public for investors and has no debt. She owns it privately, and it's now worth more than $1 billion. Out of her necessity to go to a party, create your own Powerball, right? You can do this if you think. It's little things that we think differently about that can change our life. It's huge. You know, when that Powerball thing happened, you know, you're thinking, what would I do with $1 billion dollars? I'm like, what would I do with $1,000? You know, let's start there, you know? But we need to think big like that to keep ourselves entertained. But have you ever thought of like a product or something, and then like next week you see it on Channel 13? Hey, I made Post-its. I did that. I took a piece of paper and put a piece of tape on it. I posted it. But I came up with the first washer dryer in one. You put your clothes in, you come back 2 hours later, and it's spinning, drying. My next thing is to think of how they fold them for you and put them in a nice paper bag and, you know, hang them up. I'm only kidding. I didn't invent that. But what a great idea, isn't it? Someday that'll be a product. And everybody will go, Reverend Steve talked about Sunday like 3 years ago about that. So a minister, oh, here it is. This is great. Knowing God expresses in and through all things, what urges to express that you're holding back? What has come up that you're like holding back? Be wild and provocative in expressing your spirit. Think outside the box. A minister explained to the congregation that the spiritual sinner was in need of some extra dollars. So she asked them to consider being more generous that particular morning. She announced that whoever gave the most would be invited to pick 3 hymns. After the plate was passed, she found someone graciously offered $1,000. She asked the person to please stand up. Much to everyone's amazement, it was an 85-year-old woman who rose. The minister thanked her and said, "Okay, you may now pick your 3 hymns." The 85-year-old said, "Fine." The woman looked over the congregation, found 3 handsome men, and I said, "I'd take him and him and him." That's one way of expressing, isn't it? Right? If someone writes you a pink slip, write yourself a green slip somewhere else. Have you ever been let go of something? You've been like, oh man, I lost my job, you know, oh man, pity party, here I come. It's a blessing. You know, somebody comes to me, I just lost my job. I'm like, congratulations. Like, what do you mean, congratulations? You're about to embark on something rich. You have the opportunity to go after what you want. That job wasn't serving you, apparently. Or if it was, get back in there and show them what you can do. Go make your own company and buy theirs when yours gets too big, you know? There are ways to think differently. We just have to look at our challenges as opportunities. Seeing all people as expressions of God. Life calls you to know more. Not everyone will see what you see or know what you know. As you come into greater alignment in seeing as God sees and knowing as God knows, there may be some opposition. Your spiritual practice is to see even when the opposition is challenging. Look for God in all things. What humans mean for challenge, God means for good. On the afternoon of October 9th, 2012, a Pakistani teenager, Malala, boarded her school bus for the northwest of Pakistan. A Taliban gunman, say that 3 times fast, a Taliban gunman asked for her by name and then pointed a pistol at her because she insisted that girls have the right to go to school. He fired 3 shots. 1 bullet hit the left side of her face, in her forehead. It traveled under the skin, through the length of her face, and then went into her. But incredibly, the bullet missed her brain, though she did sustain terrible injuries. Malala survived and has gone on to become an international activist for the empowerment of girls and women around the world. The Taliban still threatened to kill her. When she addressed the United Nations on her 16th birthday, Malala, speaking of herself and of her friends, said, "Yeah, they thought that the bullets would silence us, but they failed. And out of this silence came 1,000 voices. The terrorists thought that they would change our aims and stop our ambitions, but nothing changed in my life except this: weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Strength, power, and courage was born." When interviewed, Malala asked if she feared for her life, and Malala replied with this: "The thing is, they can kill me. They can kill Malala. But it does not mean that they can kill my cause as well. My cause of education, my cause of peace, and my cause of human rights. My cause of equality will still be surviving. They only can shoot a body, but they cannot shoot my dreams." They cannot shoot my dreams. I love that. The 2014 Nobel Peace Prize was given to Malala for her struggle against the suppression of children and young people and for the rights of children to educate. At 17, she is the youngest ever Nobel Prize recipient. Wow. In conclusion, where are you allowing yourself to feel buried rather than planted in your life? What is that one thing? If I could only fill in the blank. And you may not have even been honest with yourself about it. Maybe it's your secret. Whatever it is, God knows what it is. It's time to move it to the front burner. Your challenge today is to remember to see God right where you are, no matter how difficult the situation may be, and allow Spirit to express as only you can. So, bless you. So it is. Thank you. Okay.